Hello and welcome to Introduction to Color, Picking Your Palette. The information that you are going to receive today are relevant pieces of information for any type of business proposal or presentation you might be creating, such as in a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation. It is also relevant when you are talking about any marketing that you're doing, including building your brand through your logo, through any printed marketing materials, or even your website. You can also use this information if you are perhaps repainting your home or picking your outfit for today. So, first, why should you care about this stuff, particularly in a business situation? Well, color absolutely affects marketing. People, more often than not, are going to place the visual appearance of any new product, which might also include website or marketing material, even if you do sell a service. They're going to place that visual appearance above all other factors, which means they're going to look immediately at your materials and make quick judgments based on whether they like you, they don't like you, they're going to spend money with you, or maybe they're not going to spend money with you. Within that visual appearance component, 85% of shoppers surveyed in this particular survey that was done in 2011 placed color as a primary reason why they picked a particular product, particularly in cases where they had never heard about the product before. So, color is absolutely that very first thing that people see and react to, even before they have a reaction to the details of the actual design or even the content of the material. And finally, for customers that you already have, color increases brand recognition by a whopping 80%. So if you've ever had the experience where all you can remember about the product that you always buy is the color, and then you go to the store and they've changed the color, and now you have no idea what that thing is called, well, that happens to me all the time. I always go in and I know I get the blue box or the green box or the pink packaging. And if they change that design at all, then I'm confused. I wonder if this is actually, maybe it's a different company. Maybe I don't remember the right name of the company. Or perhaps because they've changed the packaging, they've made some other change that maybe I don't think is going to be so beneficial. So the important thing when you're developing any visual materials that your customer, your future customer, or your audience, if you're purely imparting information, they're going to have a very strong immediate reaction to your color. So it's important to choose your color wisely. So the color wheel is a design and artistic concept that artists have been using for centuries to understand the relationship between colors. Talking specifically from a painterly background, there are three primary colors or pigments when we're talking about paint, that these colors, when mixed together, can make every other color in the color wheel except for black and white. So your primary colors, starting at the far left, are red, yellow, and blue. When you mix these two colors together, you get the colors that are in the middle, or orange, green, and purple. Those are called secondary colors. Now, if you start mixing secondary colors next to each other, you start creating tertiary colors, and so on. The important thing to know about color is how, again, these colors interact with each other. Colors do not simply function in a vacuum. When you put two colors next to each other, you have a different visual reaction than if you put two different colors next to each other. For instance, colors that are across this color wheel from each other, such as red and green in this case, these are called complementary colors, which is a bit of a misnomer because these colors actually tend to vibrate against each other, and we see that visual vibration. Colors that are adjacent to each other on the color wheel, these are called analogous colors, which has taken me several years to say that word correctly. So I like to call them buddy colors because they are next to each other on the color wheel and they have a pleasing appearance when placed next to each other. So, when choosing your palette, whether you're creating a presentation, a proposal, a marketing document, or thinking about how to redecorate your house, it's important to limit the number of overall colors that you're going to use. You don't want to have a whole rainbow of different colors, particularly when we're talking about a business sense. So, a good guideline is to pick 1 to 4 main colors, and then you can pick tints or shades slightly lighter by adding white, we're talking about paint, or slightly darker, adding black versions of those colors to create an entire color matrix. Now, the ideas for using colors can come from if you have established company colors already, your customers' colors or the audience that you're speaking to, or in the cases where the colors appear aesthetically appealing together, perhaps a synergy of both of those colors. Below are some ideas for palette types. A balanced palette does have both colors that are those analogous or buddy colors paired up with their complements or their colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. You could have a purely complementary palette, but when these colors are the exact same vibrancy, so when your green is the same vibrancy of your red, they can vibrate next to each other and might cause people to get excited, which might be a good thing, or it might be a bad thing, depending on what you're selling. You could also have a monochromatic palette, which is not purely shades of gray, but could be shades or tints, slightly darker or slightly lighter, versions of any color, such as the blue and the red that you see below. So pick these 1 to 4 main colors, and then you might have something that looks like this, where you're developing a color matrix so that you can see how all your colors are working together. Now, in this way, you have enough colors to represent any possible number of options as far as creating those graphics, those presentations, those proposals, or even those marketing documents. So, limiting and having these colors be very consistent across all of your materials will help in that customer retention and brand recognition so that people learn to trust every time they see your colors. This should, of course, always be backed up and reinforced with your logo, the specific words that you use to reference your company, your product, or service, so that there is a holistic package with the visuals, the most important part of your visual being the color, as well as your words working together. Now, where can you get some of these ideas from if you're not really sure where to start, or if you don't have an established color palette for your business? Perhaps you're just starting a new business or you want to get something totally different. So, we're going to look at a couple of these websites. There are tons and tons of awesome websites out there. These are just a few. So, the first is Pinterest. I'm a huge fan of Pinterest. I think there's all sorts of great ideas out there, and it's a great way to look at what other people are thinking and pick up stuff that you might not have seen before. So, my company, 24 Hour Company, we do have a Pinterest page where we include information about color palettes in addition to some other type samples. So, we'll look at that first. So our Pinterest page is right here, and we've got some color palette ideas. This is from a particular company, Seeds, that they post a lot of these, which I think are pretty awesome, where they take photos and then they pull different color swatches from that photo. So this is something that you might want to look at on Pinterest. You can also go directly to design-seeds.com and check out some of their stuff. Now, the next one to look at is Color Scheme Designer. This is a really fun and free tool that you can play with by picking a color, and you can choose mono. So this is your monochromatic palette. You can choose complementary palette, and it will automatically pick up the color directly opposite the color wheel. You can pick this triadic color. So you've got, this is now the idea of having an analogous color as well as a complementary color to create a triad or three, a tetrad, etc. You can move this all around and it gives you all sorts of different ideas that you can play with. And mousing over, it will give you the web version of this color as well. Now, the third one to show you is a website called Color Lovers, and this has different ideas that are first organized into some broad categories such as, business, wedding. This is a great thing, again, if you're other than business, just to think about wedding colors or redesigning your home or your kitchen. And again, you can look at different ideas that other people have contributed to this concept of picking your color palettes. So there are tons of ideas everywhere to figure out what might work for your particular situation. If you want more great info, you can follow me on Twitter. My name is Colleen_Jolly. You can email me directly if you've got any comments or additional information that might be useful to share with everybody. You can also sign up for our e-zine or follow us on Pinterest. We do pin new things to our boards about once every 2 weeks or so. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.